What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Girl Podcast. I'm Racquel, and
I'm Natasha.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, you know that we are actually together again. We this time have moved her her outside balcony furniture.
Yeah, the table that I have on my balcony is now indoors, but it's fine. It's a dining table. So.
I couldn't do the floor thing again. My hips, I couldn't walk for 2 days after the last episode.
Because we were sitting on the floor last time. So.
Yeah. We got a real table.
The question we want to ask you guys is, ladies, but I feel like primarily ladies, how hard is it to gain respect in general, in life, in the workplace?
This was such a crazy story that happened, and I've never had another instance that happened like this before. But I was out, this was a couple years ago now, at a Marlins game, baseball game, for those of you who don't know sports or just Florida, a baseball game with two other of my friends who worked for the Panthers with me. So we're all sports girls at the time. Was this like 3 or 4 years ago? And we were in the Clevelander, which was like the club, whatever.
Yeah, it's like
a
club lounge area in the
ballpark. Yeah, because Miami and
we
have clubs in our ballparks. Exactly. Anyway, all of our sports venues. So we were watching the hockey game. It was playoffs. It was like first round. We were rooting for Vegas because a couple of our Panthers players had gone to that team. Our coach had gone to coach, whatever. Anyway, backstory. So Vegas scored. We were watching the game. They were playing LA, the LA Kings. And they scored. We got really excited because whatever, we wanted them to do well. Anyway, some guy turns to us and goes, "Oh, how cute. You guys are rooting for LA." And I was like, huh? I was like, Vegas just scored. What are you talking about? And then after that, he got all huffy and puffy and was arguing with me about, "Oh, you know hockey, huh?" And I was like, here we go. Mind you, why do people think it's okay to do that? And I think it's because, I have no idea. Like, what are you trying to prove? Mind you, he was with a bunch of girls, too. So did they think that's attractive? Because if that was my man, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Sit down.
Still, even in that case, if he's with a group of girls, I mean, what's the difference with approaching 3 of you? Like, what? He's going to bring you into the group? Or by offending, like that's one thing that drives me nuts. Sorry, like sidetrack, but like even if it's just in conversation or in dating or whatever, like when somebody approaches you kind of like questioning you or insulting you.
How cute. It would have been a different situation. It would have been a different situation if he was like, "Oh, cool, like you guys are rooting," or something like that. Asked a question or was respectful about it, but to be like, "How cute." I was like, "Oh,
right,
hell no."
So in that tone and saying those words, it sounded like mocking rather than you like saying like, "Oh, they scored," or like, starting a conversation.
Whatever else of a situation that would have just been more respectful type of thing. Because I've also gotten into conversations at bars watching hockey with my guy friends, and they're like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, it's just like "Oh, cool, she's one of us" type of thing. Like not a mocking type of sense of situation.
So Racquel got pissed.
Oh, I was mad. So then I start talking to this guy. Because he's obviously at this point egging us on. And it wasn't even like it didn't even get to a point of him being like, "Oh, they get it. They know the sport." Because I don't even think he knew the sport type of thing. I think it was, I remember correctly, he looked at the TV and then said that. I was like, you didn't even read it correctly. You don't even know what's going on. As this is happening, some girl walks over to me. This is the best moment of my life. Some girl walks over as she sees this all going down. And she walks up to me and she goes, "Oh my God, my boyfriend is the biggest Florida Panthers fan. Can he take a picture with you?" It was the best moment.
Right in that
moment.
Because
I literally look at the guy, the timing couldn't have been better. So kudos to her. I don't know where you are. Thank you, girl, for saving the moment. And he just mouth drops open. My 2 friends are like snickering now. And I was like, of course. Where is he? So I get up. I'm like, hold on one second. Hold that thought. Take a picture. He's super cool, super nice, whatever, good every game. Oh my God, you're amazing. I come back and I sit down and I was like, continue. And he was like, "Oh, well, that's not fair. What do? You obviously work for the team." Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, why does that make a difference if I work for the Panthers? I'm rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, he obviously doesn't know sports. So like, he obviously has no idea what the situation is. And my friends are like, actually, we all work for the team.
Right.
So what are you going to do now? This guy has the audacity.
Oh, God.
Audacity to go, okay, well, if you think you know sports so well, name 5 guys in the Marlins.
I hate that.
I'm sorry. I owe nothing to you.
Like, I don't know what he was hating on so much, but it's like, okay, now
because I put him in his place.
No, but no. I mean, obviously, he was totally getting a rise out of you, and he was loving it. But it's like for you to test the knowledge is like.
But he was actually so mad that like we all worked for the team.
For why?
I don't know, because I'm sure normally this is his like
domain.
Yeah, or like I don't know if that's how he picks up girls and wanted to
putting you down. Yeah.
Join us to the entanglement.
The entanglement.
I don't know, but so I did, obviously, and my friends. I think we each named 5 different people, and I was like, "Can you please walk away now?" Like
You should have just been like, "Can you name 5 people?"
You'd be like, I did. I said that. I was like, "Can you name 5?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay." And then I think what happened is he named 5, I named 5, and I was like, "Goodbye, get out of my face. I'm done.
Stupid.
Like I am done. Get out of my face."
So
and I'm never like that either, because obviously, again, when I was working for the Panthers, you are out and you have to be, respectful, and I'm never that person, but it made me so angry. I've never been just felt so degraded.
Yeah.
We left and we were like, this is it. Goodbye. Peace out. We're going to leave before I really wanted to punch this guy in the face. Like I've never been so enraged in my life.
But so where does that tie in with you feeling like the difficulty of like gaining respect?
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time. A lot of guys get so put off if a girl understands sports. Which I don't know why. Wouldn't you guys want a girl who understands sports?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, let us know, because I mean, normally, like, from what I find out, because I have for some reason, I have a lot of friends that are girls that know sports. Like, it just happened that way. I'm not one of them. Like, I mean, I follow some, like, I'll follow soccer and stuff like that, and I kind of understand, but, like, I'm not, like, a play-by-play, like, know players' names, and, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not like that with every sport. With hockey, I am, because I obviously worked in it, and it is my favorite sport.
No, but it's cool because, like, I'll be, like, if I meet, like, a single guy or something, like, a friend of a friend that's, like, wants to date or whatever, I'll be like, oh, yeah, like, I have this girlfriend or that girlfriend that, like, they know sports and whatever, and they'll be like, oh, really? Like, they seem intrigued by it, but for some reason, like, in that setting, or, like, if you don't know each other, even in the workspace, like, if a girl just, like, comes in to the guy's domain, it's off-putting for some reason.
Yeah.
But if it's like in a social setting where like you know someone and the other person knows someone, then maybe they're like, oh, like you know sports.
But that was a social setting, so that's why it's
but like where you know each other. Like friends. It's not like a stranger.
Yeah, stranger danger.
Because that's the thing. If it's a stranger, if you're a dude, like let us know. React to what we're saying. Like if you're a dude and you just see like a bunch of girls like watching the same game that you're watching and you don't know them, you're totally stranger to them. Your automatic instinct or what your thoughts are that the girls don't really know the sport. Right. That's what I think.
Yeah.
If you don't know them.
And it's funny because there wasn't even that many people left in the Clevelander, so we were like the girls watching the game.
And like, wait.
Which, who cares? Good.
I'm gonna be totally guilty, like hate me for this, people. Not gonna lie though, when I watch sports TV, and I see people commentating, that's how you say it? Yeah. Commentating, right? When I see people commentating on a sport, whatever sport it is, NBA, NFL, whatever, when I see the female get up on the mic, my automatic instinct is questioning.
Really?
Yes. It's super, super, like, sorry to admit, whatever. If I know the person or if I know of or people tell me about or whatever, then yeah, I'll be like, oh, okay, that person by name. Again, I don't know sports and I don't really follow to begin with. So even the male commentator, I don't know them. I don't know any of them. But my initial instinct is just like, oh, who's that? You know, It's like, it's awful, but
why are we programmed that way?
Right.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, before I even got into other sports, really understood any, whenever I would see a play-by-play or a sideline reporter, I would always be like, oh, wow, she knows everything. Like, good for her, because I don't. And that should be what most people say. Like, good for her.
Right.
But that's not even how it is when you work for the team. Half the people, and I'm not saying it's the team I worked for, but I have so many other friends in sports, and everyone is always constantly tweeting or anything or just saying you have to prove yourself so much because everyone just thinks you're there to sleep with the players.
Right. And on top of that, even if you want to be like yourself, right? So if you dress a certain way or whatever, and I'm not saying in a super sexy way, but like if you just have a nice figure and you're wearing a cute dress or whatever it is that you're going to wear when you're actually doing the stuff, like let's say on television. I mean, again, from the outside looking in, me being a non-sports person, like that's just your automatic feeling. You're like, okay, which sucks because it's like, oh, so now you have to dress like super conservative with like a turtleneck and like a hat on, like to be taken seriously. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, people said stuff about me all the time when I worked for the Panthers, and I was in freaking jeans, a turtleneck because it was so cold and like.
Well, yeah.
but people are still like, oh, she dressed too, and I'm like, what the.
That's the super annoying part because it's like, don't you want to see like a cute, sexy girl? Like, just because you're cute or sexy doesn't mean you're a bimbo or that you're stupid, right?
Thank you. First of all, I was literally wearing a turtleneck, a jacket, like 15 layers of clothes because it's so cold. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a petite girl. Like, I'm not gonna wear a trash bag. Like,
well, no.
First of all, that Jumbotron will add 20 pounds on you because it's the biggest camera of all. Like, awful. Yeah, so you automatically are getting added like God knows how much weight on you. But it's just so it irritates me so much, and
it's I don't know. It's again, lots of different industries that are male dominated. I mean, majority. I mean, it really depends on what, right? When we talk about fashion or hair and makeup, like that's female dominated, but then it's, you know, maybe wellness or something. But that's kind of it, right? So I actually worked in hospitality, and I was the assistant manager for, if you're local, there's an area called Wynwood. I'm just going to kind of give the background. There's an area here called Wynwood. It's like the artsy district, and they were like opening up a bunch of different places. And so I became assistant manager for a restaurant called Sette Osteria in Wynwood, and it's like an Italian restaurant. And I felt at the beginning that it was kind of difficult for me to gain respect just like with my team in general, because I was a young girl. I wasn't, you know, double my age, that I have, you know, that you heard that I've come from such and such restaurant and that kind of thing. And a lot of the servers and a lot of the bartenders and people in the kitchen, they've been around town. They've worked all over Miami in this restaurant, that restaurant.
Which
so
also
you start to know names of people.
Is so annoying because obviously you got the job for a reason, right?
Right.
It's not like they picked you up on the side of the road. They walked up to you and were like, hey, you want to manage a restaurant? And you're like, maybe. Sounds like something could be cool.
And to be fair, same thing goes with what we were talking about with sports. Like me being on the outside looking in. I mean, you have to assume that the person that you're watching commentating obviously got chosen for a reason. Like that's the first thing you need to just like set your mind straight, be humble, and be like, this person got chosen for a reason.
Oh my God. I wasn't even sidelined, and that Panthers audition was still one of the hardest auditions I've had in my entire life.
Yeah, so yes, I get the job. I'm working there, whatever, yada, yada. There was a moment during Art Basel week, which is like a super huge week.
The craziest week of the year.
It's a ton of people come in from all over the world to come for like a week's worth of time. And so we get super slammed. Like you got to prep for it, whatever. And we were nonstop, like to the point where like we had so many people coming in and out that like you would just lose customers, or they like walk away from the table because they didn't get the service quick enough, and it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare of a week in hospitality. But I got into a fight with the chef, and he was like a pretty new chef at that time, and I like respected him because of just things that he had done that I was like, okay, this guy's good, he's talented. And we just had a moment where everybody was fighting and crying that week, by the way. Like it's
a very emotional week for everyone.
It's a lot. And yeah, I had a customer at the bar. I was like bartending too. Like I was doing a lot of stuff.
I just remembered my car got booted this Art Basel week. Continue.
Oh God.
Remember?
Oh,
anyway.
That's Art Basel for you.
It's a mess. Yeah.
So, so I had a moment. I had a customer at the bar. I was trying to take care of him, and I was being really like friendly with him. And he was like, you know, I have a gluten intolerance or something like that. So I was like, wait, we actually have gluten-free pasta, Italian restaurant. And I was like, let me show you the ingredients, because I wanted to like make double, triple sure that like I'm not going to kill this guy by giving him something, and you know, his
food
allergy.
is always so scary.
So I was like, let me go show you the pasta, like ingredients and everything. Like that's me. I'm like that. I go above and beyond instead of being like, no. So I go run to the kitchen, and I'm like scurrying through the kitchen trying to grab this bag of pasta.
Stop.
And the chef at the time, I don't know what got into the guy, but he got so mad that I walked into his kitchen. Mind you, our kitchen, by the way, but...
Nothing is his kitchen. He does not pay the rent. It is not his kitchen.
Context, I'm at this point like 27-year-old girl, and this man is a chef in Miami for a long period of time, maybe around like 42.
You're still his manager.
I am still one of his managers, so... So I go to grab that bag of the pasta, and he's like, what are you doing in my kitchen? What are you trying to grab? And like, I kind of gave him attitude back.
Yeah, you should have.
And I was like,
hello?
Not answering him, I think. I just like ignored him because I was like, how about you worry about your stuff? I worry about mine. Let me grab the pasta and walk out.
I'm trying to not kill this guy.
He gets into a full-blown fight with me, and he's like, get the fuck out of my kitchen. And he was like, what are you doing here? And why, like, I don't need you in my kitchen. Why are you grabbing stuff from my supplies? Like,
I would have been like, knife. I don't need you in my kitchen.
I was like, this is the reason why you're not in the front of the house talking to the customers, because I don't need to explain to you that I'm getting this thing to show the customer so that he doesn't die. So I go.
That's a whole lawsuit.
I just grabbed the bag anyways, and I don't know. He got really mad that I took it without his permission. I go, I show the customer, whatever, we deal with the situation, I take it back. He was pissed at me. He got, and the thing is, like, I also got so riled up. I think, like, we all, like, had not him, but, like, I had a breakdown, like, later that day, like, other people. It was just this whole thing. Anyway, so I think, like, maybe minimum 2 weeks after this go by, and we legit would not talk to each other. Like, I don't know what it was that triggered him so much. And I think, okay, no, let me take a step back. So, young girl, I have power. He doesn't like it in this situation because he wants to dominate. Like, the machista came out in him, you know? And I think it just bothered him that a younger girl is walking into his domain.
Well, too damn bad, dude.
And, like... In that, but again, it was so simple. Like, it wasn't like I grabbed a pan and was
or a
like,
knife.
Let me cook something. And oh god, a knife. By the way, okay, my fiance works in hospitality, and he told me a story about somebody, a chef throwing a knife at him. Yes, it happens. It's real, guys. I think 2 weeks go by. We don't talk to each other. Like, I'm pissed. Like, I can't even look at him because I just was so bothered by the whole situation. Whatever. Long story short, or like the next phase, we ended up opening the rooftop above Seteo City and Wynwood. And it's like the biggest rooftop right now in Miami. So it's like a really big project and a really big deal, which again, going back to last week's episode, it's really hard for us to like reward ourselves or be like, I accomplished this. But I opened Astra in Wynwood, guys. It was a pretty big deal because again, me being fresh to management and hospitality, I mean, that's a big deal. I got that opportunity. So I opened up the whole restaurant upstairs. He was going to be the chef for that restaurant. That was his initial...
You can't escape him.
That was the initial thing. You can't escape him. So we were coming up with menu concepts and everything for the restaurant upstairs. And I was the one that was in charge of like putting the menu together, design and all this stuff. And also kind of like concepting behind the menu. Mm-hmm. And so I took it upon myself because I'm a smart person. And even though I was 27 at the time, I knew what I was doing. I put a menu together that would be practical for the kitchen.
Yes, because you can cook and you know what you're doing.
So I was like even though at this moment, like we hated each other's guts, I was like keeping not just him, but like the whole staff in the kitchen in mind when I was creating this so that we could pump stuff out quickly using the same kind of ingredients in different ways. So anyways,
now I'm hungry. I want to go.
The brunch at Astra, that's me. The cocktail, that was me and another girl. Like, yeah, so that's me, guys. Hey. I put the menu together. Long story short, he ends up getting, like, something happened. He didn't show up for a shift or something. He got, like, fired.
Karma. That's what we call karma.
So the one day he comes back to, like, pick up his check. And we had opened Astra already. We were doing that menu that I did, whatever. And he came to me, he shook my hand. Racquel's like rolling her eyes. For me, this was like a huge moment for me. He came to me, he shook my hand, and he told me, thank you so much for everything that you did for me. Again, yes, maybe he was sucking up to me. We can all roll our eyes. Maybe he wanted to do that on purpose so that he could maybe get an in or get his job back.
Right.
Whatever. I still supported his creativity side of things, but it was a huge accomplishment for me, for like a chef that had been around town in Miami. Like, he worked for Disney. He, oh my God, I don't remember like the other restaurants, but like
Steph got fired for Disney from acting like that because it's the happiest place on earth.
Exactly. That was great. Cut. No. Yeah, and like he worked for other restaurants. I forget who and whatever, but like the fact that like an older man, experienced in Miami, a chef, like came and shook my hand. I was like, that's it. Like, I wiped my hand.
I can leave this job now.
No, really, like it sounds stupid because it's like not going into the job. I wasn't like, oh, I need to gain the chef's respect. Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like, I didn't know the obstacles that I was gonna face that I did, but like I learned so much from it. But like that moment, he finally like realized what I did for them. Yeah. Even though we got in that stupid fight, which whatever, like obviously we like brushed it off. But
so you feel like you eventually gained the respect from him.
Yeah, but
here's the thing. It took being emotional and whatever back, but then there's always that aspect of us being too emotional to do things.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of
so the emotional thing, right?
That's what it doesn't understand, because it's like, okay, you're gonna approach me, even my story, you're gonna approach me, obviously it's gonna make me upset, I'm gonna get emotional. A normal person's gonna get emotional. I don't care if you are a child, an 80-year-old, if someone approaches you like that, you're gonna get emotional. And then people are like, oh, we can't have a woman in charge because she's too emotionally attached. First of all, I am not an emotional person. I get really pissed off, but it like leads up. If a bunch of things have obviously happened, I explode. I like hold everything in. I'm one of those.
There are people that still think that a woman's not capable of being a general manager of a giant project. Blows my mind. But again, male-dominated industry. Let's just say you are working for entertainment, news or something, where you have tons of female powerhouses, producers.
Hello. Jason Kennedy and Kat Sadler. Kat literally started the whole women empowerment thing because she wanted the same pay as Jason, and they said no. When I worked, the only instance I've had working in hospitality is when I did social media for that bar. Yeah. And it was really cool to see the GM was a guy and the two assistant managers under him were women, and he really respected them. And honestly, as sad as it is to say, that's probably the only workplace I've actually seen that.
I mean, you definitely need to know what you're signing up for too, because just from like firsthand of seeing like these powerhouse guys and how they are, I mean,
they're sharks.
They're sharks, and then a lot of them disrespect women in life. So how can you expect to be respected in the workplace if they don't even respect, girls, like in general? Like, so to even want to work in that environment, that already alone, it's just questionable, Right. Which is why you have Millennial Girls Podcast, and when we start building our team, we're gonna have a bunch of female
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's still one of those things that people look over and don't think it's getting so dark right now.
No, it's kind of setting. But I want to ask you, Racquel, like, have you had an experience where you're like, okay, like I gained respect, or like you felt like so-and-so respected you after a certain amount of time, or like you kind of like proved yourself and then they're like, oh, okay, wait, she's really got the chops?
Yes and no.
Well, when's the yes?
It was a constant yes and no situation, because it was one of those things where I thought I moved forward 2 steps and then something would happen and I felt like I was knocked down 10. So it's just one of those things that I would be like, yes, I finally gained the respect, or I did something right, and then something would happen, I would be told something, and then I was like, all right, well, maybe not. But yeah. I will say one of the things I think I majorly feel like I gained respect was when I was working at the Panthers, and a lot of the actual Fox Sports people and broadcast people would be like, you did so great today. We know you know the game, and I would have actual conversations with them, and just to have people in that space who were kind of outsiders because they weren't officially working for the team. They were just obviously associated with the team. To have those kind of people in the industry that you work in understand that you aren't there just to sleep with the people, and you genuinely love sport, know the players. Because it got to a point where my co-host could not say the names right of the players. So anytime I had to, it was anything with that, I was always the one who had to save the day. Or
interesting. And your co-host was a male.
Yep. Yep.
This is really terrible to say, but this is how I feel right now talking about it. I don't know if I'll ever feel good enough in a job setting and understood unless I think my boss is a female. I do want to give a shout out.
Yes. We want to give a shout out to Lupita because she is such a dedicated listener. She listens every week. She wrote a really nice review on Apple Podcasts for us. And she wrote, "The podcast is what you didn't know you needed in your life. These girls have gotten, I can't even see, vulnerable. I need glasses. Vulnerable to help other people feel empowered. And we want to help you feel empowered. We want to be relatable. That is exactly what this podcast is about. So thank you so much, Lupita, for listening. Lupita. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everyone who always listens and shares, because it really is super, I don't know, it's just so nice to see that people are listening.
Yeah, for sure.
And enjoy it. Because obviously our friends listen, our parents listen. They have to. They have no choice. But it's really nice to see that and see the reviews left. And if you can, leave a review because it helps us if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. I'm not sure about iHeart, YouTube, leave a comment. Spotify, I'm sure you could do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, any engagement would be pleasantly received on our end.
Yes, for sure. So thanks for listening to another episode. Peace, love, unicorns, guys. Follow us on social media. You know what to do. This is being released every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
It's dark.